Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Nicktana, host of the Tana's Eye View podcast, and this is episode 17 of Tana's Eye View, the podcast where we talk about everything gaming and things I want to get off my chest and the eye view of how I see things. I have one lovely guest here today. He's been on the show a lot. He's on his 8th run of Elden Ring, ignoring Master Chief's phone calls and haven't touched grass since this summer. You guys know him as Stu. That's my boyfriend. Stu, tell the people who you are and where to find you and shit.
I mean, I'll kind of reiterate what I said before. I've been on here before, so y'all should know who I am and where you can find me at. But for those who haven't, I'm Stu, streamer, Elden Lord for the 3rd time, not 8th. And yeah, I still a little too afraid to touch grass, but maybe one day.
It feels like your 8th time. Like, it just feels like you've been playing for so long. That's why.
You know what? Let me see how many hours I got on the game. Now that you mention it, let's just what giggles.
That's the real question I want to know is the hour amount, because I make sure I check my hours too. Like sometimes
163.
How long?
163.
Dude, you're like over mine by 100. I'm sitting at like 45 hours, and I thought I was like really getting in depth with the game, and then I hear your hours, and I'm like, dude, I'm not even anywhere close.
I mean, I wish I could see how much each playthrough was split up to, but I mean, you can sink a lot of time in before you beat the game if you do everything.
Man.
Like you can easily hit like 100-hour mark if you do like all the side quests and exploring.
It's not,
by the time you beat the game.
It's not even like that too. It's also the point that I feel like I'm exploring everything and whatever else. I don't know. We'll get into it in a second. Let me do my household cleaning. I gotta tell the people what to do. First off, I didn't write this down in my notes, but I just want to say, you guys that have been pulling up the pod, listening to it, giving it me and my lovely guest a chance to invade your ear holes with knowledge of gaming and just us talking about video games has just been an absolute blessing to me. I never thought that I would. I mean, we were at 600 downloads last episode. After the Pokemon episode, we're at 700 all-time downloads throughout the pod and its existence. So just seriously, thank you guys. You guys have been absolutely killing it. Everybody that's supporting the pod, listening to it, rating it 5 stars, all that good shit. It's very heartwarming. It shows that I'm doing something right. It shows that you guys like it. If you guys have any recommendations or anything that I should start including inside the pod, please don't be afraid to hit me up on Twitter at YouLoveNicktana. Leave a comment, leave a rate. Any rate is honestly anything. But if you guys could leave 5 stars, it will really help me move up the algorithm, get the community bigger, and really drive this thing to its potential. Like I said, my name is Nicktana. You guys can find me on all social media, specifically Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. You just type in at YouLoveNicktana and you can find my social pages. On YouTube, I've been going crazy with the Elden Ring, and then Twitch, I stream 3 days a week. I'm done rambling. I'm ready to kick this off, man. I just want to say thank you guys so much, and it means the world. It means the world that we're making progress, we're making big waves, and I'm glad I can do this with my friends and stuff like this. Shut up, man.
Whoa.
I'm kidding. I told myself, listen, bro, Stu, the only reason I did that to you is like
One star. Look,
man, I gotta give you shit sometimes. That's my boy. Man, but regardless, before we get into Elden Ring, because before we start every pod, we've been having this little trend where we talk about where we're at. And Elden Ring is pretty much the main game I'm playing right now. Same thing with Stu. I just want to ask Stu how his day's going, man. I want to get an in-depth of Friday and Saturday for you. Let's do 2 days. How's the 2 days been for you?
In terms of like Elden Ring or just in general?
Just in general. What'd you do, man? Did you have work? Did you go outside? Did you have a good meal?
I mean, the weekends are usually when Casey like goes over to her friends and works on the weekends. So Fridays and Saturdays are usually like the big days where I just get to like bull out with Scarlett all day, which is always fun.
Right.
She's a hellion. Like she's nuts right now. She is at like that age where it's just like she's like running at like 6th gear all the time, and I'm just like every now and again I'm like, dude, just let me sit down.
That's how Will is. Is basically he's just like jumping up and down. He doesn't really think twice about things. Oh, let me get a piece of candy. Let me drive this truck. I want to watch this. No, I want to watch this in this room. And it's like he wants to do everything, and like, you know me, I'm that cool dad, bro. Like, I really don't care what he does. I'll make him whatever he wants to eat. Like, I really like. The only time I really get picky with him is like, bro, you ain't gonna have a piece of candy for lunch, or you're not gonna have ice cream at 8 in the morning. Like, we gotta be reasonable. But like, if it's, I'll let him stay up till 11 o'clock at night, running around throughout the house. I really don't care. As long as I'm up and I'm not doing nothing, I really don't care. Come kick it.
I'm like that too. It's just, most of the thing is like when it comes to like her eating and drinking, because it's like, sometimes she likes those like Welch's fruit snack things. She will demolish a whole box of those if I let her. So I have to like, at some point I have to like cut her off, and I'm like, no. And then she's just like going bonkers, and I'm like, dog, you've had like 5 bags of these. Like, you can't keep doing this. Like, let's eat some real food.
Bro, my son's juice box count today is insane.
Oh, dude, you know those juice barrels, like the ones that are shaped like the little jugs. Like,
I haven't gave him a barrel yet. That's about to be the next thing. Those are cheap. Those are cheap too.
Scarlett goes fucking nuts over those barrels. Like, she'll drink one, throw it away, and grab another one out and just bring it to me and be like, open it. And I'm like, you just chugged one. Like, chill out.
That's him with like the we get him the Kroger brand, or like the Costco brand of the juice boxes, and that's what he'd be drinking, like the Capri Suns, and like we'll just put that in his face, and he'll be like, juice box, and he just goes crazy on it. He can't even get them himself. I gotta stab it in there and stuff. But he's a juice box maniac, and it like
Scarlett's a juice box and Go-Gurt. Like, those are her 2 things. Like, dude, she goes nuts over those Go-Gurt tubes, and it's just like, Jesus, man, like, you're gonna have, like, thank God you're not lactose intolerant or whatever. Christ.
That's cool, man. You got to spend some time with your daughter. Like, I mean, like I said, sometimes Mo, she'll be like, well, you're just gonna have a Father and Son's Day with Willie. I'm like, fuck it, that's cool. I'm like, I really don't mind with that. Like, some people, they'd be like, oh my God, but like, as long as he's cool when he doesn't hurt himself, like, I let him do what he wants. He just chills in his room. He just watches his monster trucks or whatever. He ruined my YouTube, dog. Like, my YouTube, I signed into my YouTube on his thing.
I specifically make sure I'm signed out anytime she gets on anything with YouTube. I'm like, you are not ruining my algorithm.
You know what fuck pops up on my YouTube, bro? Blippy. I hate Blippy.
Oh. Scarlett loves Blippy.
Blippy is the absolute worst. This dude pops up on my screen literally every time I pop. It's either Blippy or something to do with Mario, because he watches Mario Kart all the time. So
Scarlett likes Blippy and then Ryan. Those are like her 2.
I don't know who Ryan is, but I don't know if I want my son watching Ryan.
Ryan's toy reviews. He was like that kid way back in the day. He was like, did like toy reviews and like was like massive, and like now he just does like skit videos and like Roblox with his family. She likes watching them. I'm like, whatever.
Interesting. Keeps him occupied. So.
Oh yeah, she just sits there and like chills out, and I'm like, you're making my job easy.
Right. Little update for me, man. I just been Friday and Saturdays. Well, at work, we're finally down to my shift usually is I work 5/12s. So we've been cut down to 5/10s. So I've been getting a lot more time and shit like that to spend some time with the family and stuff. So basically, I came home Friday about like 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that. Hurried up, got changed, cut the grass, had a Truly in hand, did a little bit of that. And
grass, damn it.
Morgan got some pizza from Domino's. We ended up kicking it, and then yesterday was it was a workers party for the yacht club. My fiance, you love Mo, guys. She works at the yacht club. That's a few streets down from us, and they benefited her for how many hours she puts in. So we had some steak, some drinks. We just balled out, but God, man, those vodka is the death of me, man. When you drink juicies all day, when you drink juicies all day, when you're
you step up to the big boy drinks, it hits, huh?
Yeah, when you're a Truly stan, bro, you just want to, dude. I wanted to lay in bed all day. Oh man, but I'm happy I'm getting something productive down and whatever else. So I'm glad you had a good little weekend, and this is gonna make it better because I'm gonna flame your ass. So I know we wanted to talk about the last topic on the list, how we wanted to talk about that, and you were like, oh yeah, we could debate about that, but we'll leave it for them. Yeah. We'll leave it for them to find out. So
the best part of the podcast, y'all gotta stick through it.
All right, guys. So our first topic we're going to talk about is obviously, like we said, traditionally we like to talk about Elden Ring because we just been enjoying the hell out of the game and giving it its flowers, honestly, because like I say on every episode of the pod, I didn't think I would be this much in love with the game that I am. So we're going to give you guys a little update where I'm at. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off to where I'm sitting at about 46 hours, maybe a little bit more. I finally did the Lakes of Luernia, so I kind of been exploring that. And then after I did all that, I pretty much did everything I could in Caelid. So I know I got my my Moonveil Nicktana. I've been exploring that. I facing a lot of bosses that are pretty tough. I ended up battling Radahn, which is very cool, and just kind of exploring, see what I can to level up. But I've realized that I have to go back to Caelid because I didn't do the Scarlet Dragon. Or the Lake Rot Dragon or whatever. I think it's the Lake Rot or Scarlet Rot. Scarlet Rot.
Is yeah, like the dragon that breeds like Scarlet Rot breath.
Yeah, so I got to do that,
sucks.
And then I got to do the dungeon with Scarlet Rot.
Okay, yeah.
So there's
have you done any of like the Beast Clergyman stuff?
I don't think so.
Got to do that then too.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I was missing, but I ended up, I don't know you're gonna have to tell me this because you were watching the stream. What place am I at now? Like for the new area, the up north area. It's not the Divine Tower, but it's around there.
Yeah, you're in like Lanedale, like the city, like right?
Yeah.
Like you're like last I saw you were on the outskirts of it because I was tapping in and out, and you were like on the stairs getting up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's basically where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So
I love Altus Plateau. I love Altus. That area is so cool.
Mm-hmm. The Radahn battle, Stu told me Radahn Festival. I was kind of worried for it, but like after kind of sitting back and listening to the story of the cinematic of just basically him, just the curse that was put on him, and he was just eating his army, and that he just wanted to die. I'm like, yo, this dude has been through some shit. So I was like, yeah. And then I felt like the battle was a little too easy, but like once you kind of clarified that he wanted to die, it makes it more of just like a
that thing. And it's like lore wise, it's like he's afflicted by the rot, like he's holding back the stars still while it's like he's nowhere near his full power.
No.
And like the thing I kind of hated, granted we both beat him the same way, is it's like Rock Sling is a great spell. I almost kind of wish Rock Sling didn't even work on him because it's like gravity magic and he is the master of gravity magic. So it was kind of annoying that this spell worked so well against him, and it's like he made this spell. Why is it so effective against him?
Right, because
I said, that's how I beat him. So
that's basically how I did it too. I just spaced out, did Rock Sling, and then let all my summons do the work. But then I made sure when they all died, I made sure I got in there and got my hits in and shit like that. So, it was definitely, I liked Radahn. I like his armor. I'm rocking his helmet right now. Well, actually, no. I think I'm not rocking his helmet anymore. I'm actually rocking the antlers that you find in Nokron.
Oh, yeah, the big deer antlers or whatever.
Yeah, so I've been rocking them.
I change my armor like daily. Every time I boot up, I'm like, what looks cool today?
Yeah, like that's the thing is like it really doesn't matter like that. Now that I'm kind of tweaking with stuff, like I feel like it's just more cosmetic. As long as I'm not fat rolling, I really don't care. I just want.
Yeah, it's like unless you equip like the Bull Goat or like the Omen armor, which is just nothing but poise, it's like who cares?
Right. I mean, I'm gonna get my shit rocked regardless.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get hit regardless, so I might as well just get hit less. Forehead, get good.
Like the Tree Sentinel armor. That armor's clean as hell.
I don't know if I got the Tree Sentinel armor.
So you know that dungeon that you were in, that hero grave where it was like the two chariots going back and forth and stuff like that?
Yeah.
You get it in there by getting all the chariots to like destroy each other. Like there's like a puzzle in there where you have to like activate these switches, and it essentially like turns them to where they crash into each other. And when you do that to like all of them, you get the armor.
Okay. Yeah, that
it's
chariot shit.
Looking armor, but it's heavy.
That chariot shit was so annoying, bro.
Hero graves low-key kind of suck. I don't like doing
I lost 22k runes doing that shit because I wasn't going back to fight them.
Oh yeah, that's right, because you were fighting the two Crucible Knights in there.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going back in there for no 22k runes. I was like, I'm gonna stress myself out. And then like, if you guys remember from the last episode, I did say that I do rock magic in one hand and then I have a katana in the other hand. I fully converted to full beast mode. I am full katana mode, 2 katanas, rocking them. A lot of people on the internet been chirping about it. I know. Whatever. I think it's dope. I think the 2 katanas is cool.
I can kind of understand in like the PvP aspect because it's like katanas are good. There is a counter to it. In PvP, you can make everything work good. Katanas are extremely easy to counter, but it's like in the PvE aspect where you're just playing by yourself. Like, who gives a shit what you use? That's why when people are like, You like beat a boss and they're like, oh, you used Moonveil and River. It's like, who gives a shit? This is a PvE. Like, this literally doesn't even involve cheesing another player.
That's just the internet for you, bro. Like, I mean, like, I saw it and I was just like, I just didn't understand. Like, to be honest, I think there's way cooler weapons than the katanas. Like, the katanas are cool and they do a lot of damage, but they're the most reasonable weapon to use. They're scaled to what I already have upgraded, so it makes sense for me to do that.
They have bleed. They have good abilities. Like, they're just, they're good. I mean, I use... I use, if I'm not using katanas, I call them heavy katanas, like the curved great swords. Essentially the exact same thing. They're just heavier.
I think there's way cooler weapons. I just can't use them, and I didn't like. But like, yeah, dude, that's the thing about the game. You could replay it, and you could get a different weapon. You could respect yourself to get new weapons and shit like that. So I just never understood, but it is what it is. I don't know.
Last playthrough I did this dual scythe and dual spear build, and I was like, this is fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm probably going to pick it up today, pick it up where I left off. But other than that, man, I've been having a great time with the game. It's fun. It's great. And it's probably going to win Game of the Year because everything's getting pushed back, which we'll also talk about that in the pod, too, because we got to talk about Redfall and Starfield.
Starfield, yeah. Well, both of them, right?
Yeah, they both got pushed back. They're both Bethesda games, too. Like everybody, we can talk about it right now. Anyway, we'll talk about the PlayStation stuff afterwards. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's let's be real. Who didn't see at least Starfield getting pushed back? Like, let's be real.
Listen, from what I heard is from Xbox reporters and shit like that. They were talking to the guy that was like in charge of the whole operation, and he made it very confident that the game was going to come out. But me as a consumer of games and just seeing like. You didn't put out a lick of gameplay yet. You haven't. You gave us one cinematic that came out last year, and it was coming along from that 1 year anniversary from that cinematic. I was just like, I was very unconfident that it was coming out on time. But I mean, a lot of people were really hoping to because like Xbox don't really have any more games coming out until Redfall and Starfield come out. So.
I mean, unless Xbox actually does come through and does like that Marcus Phoenix collection thing that's being rumored. If they do that, that's huge.
That would be cool.
I would lose my mind if they did that.
So I'm going based on what Bethesda posted on Twitter. Bethesda on Twitter said an update on Redfall and Starfield, and they put. We made the decision to delay the launches of Redfall and Starfield to the first half of 2023. The teams of Arcane and Austin, in quotes, that's Redfall, and Bethesda Game Studios, in quotes, Starfield, have incredible ambitions for their games, and we want to ensure that you receive the best, most polished versions of them. We want to thank everybody for their excitement for Redfall and Starfield. That energy is a huge part of that, what inspires all of us every day and drives our own excitement for what we are creating. We can't wait to share our first deep dive into gameplay for both Redfall and Starfield soon. Thank you for the support. Now, I'm going to go on my impressions of it first because, to be honest, I go outside. I touch a lot of grass. I make sure video games don't consume my life, even though I love them. A lot of people are very upset about this. A lot of people on the Xbox side of things, they're freaking out. They're saying, like, oh, well, this is the last big release for Xbox in general. Those two games were like what everybody was looking forward to. Those were like the main title games that Xbox was falling back on. Now, Xbox don't have a game in general for the rest of the year until 2023. It looks like a lot of games are getting pushed back, but honestly, it really doesn't bother me that much. I've been saying this with every game that gets pushed back. Like, if it gets pushed back, it's just like go back and play a different game, honestly. I just kind of had a feeling this was going to happen. I'm more shocked about Redfall than anything. Redfall looked like it was coming out on time. It looked very confident, but yeah,
at least we got more from Redfall than we did Starfield.
I think, well, they were putting out alphas and stuff like that for certain people, or like pre-alphas. People were like pre-playing the game, so it must have went really bad to where people were just not like, this ain't it, like, but they pushed it back. But Redfall, I felt like, wasn't as highly anticipated like Starfield. Like, people are saying like Starfield's going to contend for Game of the Year. And I never really understood that because I don't know where people are like, it's a Bethesda game, you just got to expect that it's going to be good. Like, I think, is it supposed to feel like that that Skyrim Elder Scrolls type thing, but you're in space, right?
I don't know. We don't know enough about it to say that. So
That's the
people
thing.
Like, it's gonna be game of the year.
We don't know. Like, I mean, like people are like, I've talked to a good load of my community and a lot of people that do like these games as well, and they're just like, they're just saying like, you just have to expect that it's gonna be good. It's like I can't because I can't put my finger on it. But like, I'm hoping I get proved wrong, bro. I'd never like wish downfall on these games or anything, but like. The same thing with Elden Ring. Like I thought Elden Ring was gonna be straight doo doo, and then I played it and I watched people play it, and it's all I can contain. That's all I've been putting into my hours. I completely disregarded my backlog for this game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, how do you feel about it? You cool with the pushback then? I mean, it's not really bugging you, right?
I mean, it's not really bugging me. I'm just curious to know, like, their reasons for doing it. Like they said, it's like, they're pushing it back, but they didn't really say anything. Like, is it, is it like a faltered game build? Are they revamping it? Is the dev team being overworked? Is it just, regular delays? It's like, they're just like, hey, it's pushed back, and there's no like, why?
Right.
Like, if they were under like severe crunch, it's like, okay, well, that's understandable. But it's like, if they're just like,
which
we're like, or it's like kind of like we were talking about, it's like, or is it because Elden Ring came out and they were just like, shit, let's push it back? Like
that's what I'm really starting to get to, man. There's been so many games like Breath of the Wild getting pushed back to 2023, and I think that some of these titles just they don't feel like they can compete with these games. So 2023 is going to be like a toss up between all these random games, which is crazy because like some people are saying God of War.
2022. Yep,
God of War. That's the only thing that can possibly like compete with it. But like that's the only one that's making a chance. Like which Gordon had a question for the end of the pod about a game of the year for besides Elden Ring. So we'll talk about that at the end. Just Elden Ring. I don't think anything could beat Kirby. Kirby. You're not smiling. It's not Kirby.
Sorry, I'm looking up. I'm just looking up because I'm like trying to think. I'm like, what would even be contenders for Game of the Year? So I'm just looking up 2022 game releases, and I'm like, the only other thing I could potentially think of is maybe the new Horizon game. It's like, okay, like that was a big one, but even then I didn't really hear a lot about it. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I just I'm more anticipated for Redfall, which I feel like a lot of people like the look of it, but like I am really, really invested into Redfall. I'm guessing Redfall's I'm not guessing. I've heard Redfall is basically like your Left 4 Dead, your Back 4 Blood type game, but with animated character. Well, like, you know what I'm saying, more cartoonish. Yeah. I feel like, so I'm excited for that. But like I said, man, it's not really bugging me. We'll wait till 2023. I was just very curious. Do you think like what game's gonna have to step up to the table for Xbox now? You know what I'm saying? Because those two games were supposed to hold down the fort until 2023, and now it's like, okay, so let's look at Xbox and let's look at the titles they have. Grounded is doing actually, we don't hear about it a lot, but I know Grounded is a very good game that a lot of people...
It's been consistently good. Like, yeah. It's been like a consistent sleeper, but it's like, it's always been like a relatively well-played game.
Right. Like, I play Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves don't do enough for me to like really hold it down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hold down Xbox for that. I guess like the only thing would have to be with Infinite, bro. Like Infinite has to really like hold this shit down for like 6 months. And Halo Infinite, yeah, Halo Infinite's just been bad, man. Like it's very odd, man, because
the only thing that I think Xbox has up their sleeve, like now that I'm looking at it, and it's like it's probably not going to get announced this year, is Hellblade 2. But it's like I don't even think a release date's been announced for that game. So
we saw that once. That was gameplay, right? We saw that one gameplay at the Game Awards.
Yeah, like the kind of like Senua's or Hellblade 2 with like the weird like giant looking thing, and
which looks like a very good game, but like isn't that game like 4 hours long?
I don't think so. I would think it would be a full-fledged, like a AAA game. I know Hellblade 1 was a long game, so I'd hope that Hellblade 2 would be too.
Someone said 4 hours. I thought when I looked it up, it was a short game for some reason. But like that would be the only thing if it gets announced. But it looks like nothing's getting announced this year. But like, is that really what? Like, I just never thought like, does that award mean that much? The Game of the Year award. If your game isn't Game of the Year, is it a flop? Like, come on, bro. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of platformers that came out that didn't get Game of the Year, like Psychonauts, man.
I knew Psychonauts was going to come up. I knew that's what you were getting at.
I got to bring it up every pod. That thing didn't win one award, man.
I thought it won. I thought it won something.
No, it didn't. Like, bro, the game is advanced. It's past its time. It's like it's past its time, bro. Like with, dude.
I swear, Psychonauts 2 won. I'm looking it up as you continue to talk, but it's like I could have sworn Psychonauts 2 won something.
Like a game at It Takes Two won Game of the Year, and like that.
Oh,
game,
maybe that. Yeah, I remember that game.
But that wasn't so. Nobody expected that. I feel like I think like indie game at best, but like you know what I'm saying. Like you can't distrust the other games that competed. So like I just don't understand why people like say like, oh, they probably just pushed it back to so it could get a chance at Game of the Year. I'm like, I don't know, like if that's a feasible excuse. Like if the game is done and it could get put out, then cool. But if they're pushing it back, like you said, because of crunch, because of these workers not working enough hours or like working too much hours, people are getting stressed, and the game's just not finished. Like I don't want another Cyberpunk thing. I don't.
Yeah.
Because like I'm not saying Cyberpunk is bad now. I can't say that because I haven't picked it up. But apparently they fixed a lot of things. I'd have to replay it to figure that out. But like at the same time, like make the games good. It's just like I don't want to. In my head, I just don't want to fucking be like, oh, this game's getting pushed back because of Game of the Year. But I mean, I guess all they got is Halo Infinite, man. Do you think it could get revived? Like I put it down,
no.
You know, it's just like because like I don't want to even give it another shot, bro. I'm turned off by it. I think
it's like because it's like season 2 came out and it's like it added 2 new maps, like only 2 new maps, and then it's like a new battle pass with like pretty much like borderline reused cosmetics, and it's just like dog, y'all really need to like do more. Like 2 maps is not and then it's like even when season 2 came out, like a bunch of bugs started happening too. Like now like weapons like jam is what they're calling it, like your guns won't shoot half the time.
I saw
like
that.
There were connection and it's just like what are y'all doing, man? Like y'all butchered this series so bad. Like y'all had so much time to fix it. And like then they even took out, you know, like certain jumps and movement things that like pro players were like, hey, this is badass. And then like they just took it out without telling anyone. And a lot of pro players were just like, hey, so about that transparency, you didn't run this past anyone and just took it out because y'all thought it was the move. And it got so much backlash that 343 is like, all right, well, we reverted that and put it back in.
Do you
just
think,
like, man, y'all are out of touch.
Do you think people did that because you can only do it off a controller or off a mouse and keyboard? Because I know that was a big Apex debate. Like they took away the strafe jumping.
You can do it on both.
Okay, I was about to say because I heard they when they took away the strafe jumping in Apex, everybody was like super mad about it, and they were just like livid, and they were like, "Why would you take that away?" And then like controller players couldn't do it; it was only a mouse and keyboard thing to where you could key bind it on a scroll wheel or something like that. But like me not even really being the biggest Halo fan ever, like I'm just not. I generally thought when I first picked it up, and I think everybody had this feeling, it was like it was good to have an arena shooter that felt good to play. It was fun to play. Everything was very balanced from the gun shooting, from like I feel like when you play, every time I got a kill or every time I died, I knew the reason why I died. I feel like sometimes it's hard. Like you get outplayed more than just like BS, I feel like. But bro, it came a time where I put in 10, 15, 20 hours and it's like, bro, I'm playing the same 3-4 maps. Like, and
it gets boring. There's no life to it. It's just like if you play for an hour, you've played the entire game.
But that's the problem that I'm getting at. It's like we're sitting here playing for 10 hours and we're doing 3-4 hour sessions at this point. And it's like, man, we just played this map like 2 maps ago. And it's like, once you get the maps down, it doesn't really make it that much fun anymore. Like it doesn't. Yeah. Like I just lost interest in it, and I never really cared for the battle pass. I didn't look into it that much. I was just more concerned with just like the gameplay aspect of it. Like I know a lot of people were very hyped and they're excited that this game came out early and it was unexpected and everybody rushed home because they wanted to play it super bad. But like the problem with doing that is a lot of stuff is unfinished. We still haven't got co-op campaign. We haven't gotten Forge. There's probably something along the lines that isn't getting fixed that they haven't put in the game. And like you said, 2 maps, like, you know, they're working at a battle royale. We got to assume, like, I mean, like, I don't want to, either if we want it or not, you got to assume someone's working on it. This is why this stuff isn't coming through.
Yeah, apparently it's been rumored that the battle royale is coming out, but it's being developed by a different developer called Certain Affinity. So
that's the thing, man. It's like I could care less about a BR. I just want more maps. Give me more maps, because like, can you give me podcast Nicktana? Do you know how many maps are exactly in the game? Oh,
I know there's, let's see, 9 maybe. I don't know. Let me see.
I don't know, man.
I'll look it up right now because like it's not a lot.
I'm
So
very,
we've got
very curious. And like,
1,
we've been
2,
waiting for
3,
this.
4,
I could care less about
5,
co-op
6,
campaign
7.
anymore because that's out the window. Everybody's done play the campaign who's wanted to play it. So
It's got 12 maps and one, wait, 1, 2, 3 of them are BTB only. So 9 arena ones, 3 BTB ones.
this is not. I don't know. I don't think that's the normal for Halo. I feel like they've always had more.
Oh, Halo's always had a shitload of maps. And whenever they'd have DLCs would usually be 4 maps at a time.
Because then it's like, are we being greedy because it is a free to play game? Like, are we just asking for too much?
It's Microsoft's moneymaker. They need to.
But this was
free to
it.
play or not, like this is literally the face of Microsoft is Halo, and y'all are just giving the absolute bare minimum now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you would think your big heavy hitter in Halo would be putting up numbers, or you would want it to like be at its peak, because I've heard a lot of people say like, if Halo doesn't starstruck everybody, then it's dead at this point.
Oh, player count's just abysmal. It's fallen off so much.
When you have the nostalgia from Halo 3, remember playing Forge, all the custom games, all the rank matches, and the amazing campaign and story of Master Chief, and ever since like 4 and 5, it just kind of went downhill and nobody really cared about like Master Chief. I don't give a fuck about Master Chief's story. I'm sorry. I like Halo. I think it's more interesting when you bring in a Halo ODST. I think that story was way more interesting than you bring in like a Halo 4 and 5. I'm tired of hearing about Master Chief, you know?
Yeah, 4 is all right. 5 I could care less. But Infinite, I actually really like the Infinite campaign. But yeah, like not really good if you have a good campaign built on the back of 2 bad ones. It's like, oh, yeah.
So Xbox just seems like it's in shambles, and we just got to deal with that. Stinks.
Pretty much.
Stinks. Get it together, Xbox. I hope everybody at Bethesda's getting their hour, or not crunching and whatever, though. We just want everybody to produce the best video games, so.
Yep.
Next on our list, we basically have PlayStation announced all their classic plus games, their catalog. Some titles feature improved frame rate and higher image quality. Select PlayStation/PSP titles feature a new UI and lets players save at any time or rewind the game. Owners of classic PS1/PSP games can access the games without a sub. And Ubisoft Plus is getting added to PlayStation, which honestly is a W. It's not bought by PlayStation. It's just saying like, look, you're getting Ubisoft Plus with PlayStation. That's kind of tough. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Kind of like what EA did with Xbox with Game Pass.
Right. I sent over the list. I really don't want to go through the whole list. There's a lot of games in here, but
yeah, there's a decent chunk of games on there. We don't, obviously that's a lot to go through.
You got your Jack and Dexter's on here. You got Ape Escapes on here. You got BioShock, Borderlands, a lot of the Lego games, Demon Souls, Infamous. All of those games are on there. All the Ratchet and Clanks.
Yeah, they got Fear. Fear is such a great game.
Red Dead Redemption, Lost Planet, Devil May Cry is kind of a W. And then I want to announce the Ubisoft games. The Ubisoft games, the main ones are, you getting AC Valhalla, all the Far Cries, South Park. If you're into that, I think those games are kind of over fart jokes, but I mean, Watch Dogs, The Division. So definitely a lot of stuff on here.
All the Trials and Trackmania, cool.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I have PlayStation Plus time limited game trials revealed. Uncharted, Horizon Forbidden West. What's CP 2077?
Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay, yeah. Farming Simulator, Tiny Tina's, and WWE, which I don't know. I feel like that's the only reason why it's not going to compete with Game Pass, is just because it doesn't have the games on hand with the subscription, but I can understand why they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
They'll add new games every month. PlayStation Plus Essentials, first Tuesday of the month. You'll get a new game. PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium Deluxe. Additional new games across Extra, Premium passes or plans. In the middle of the month, number of game varies per month. So, basically the only thing I really want to talk about is how you feeling about Ubisoft and PlayStation teaming up. I mean, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I have no problem with it. I mean, like I said, I know since EA did it with the Xbox, it's like I know every other game has their subscription plan, so it's like I was only a matter of time before another one got involved and joined up with something.
Right.
So.
I think it's cool for the price that you pay if you can get those games too, because like I know that Ubisoft Plus has their own, like you said, their own subscription plan. If they could throw it in with PlayStation, you could play those games too. I think it just makes the deal a little bit better. So I think that's gonna swing over a lot of people. I think for me, it's probably still a no for me. I'm getting to the point to like, even with Xbox, like Game Pass is cool because you get to try a lot of these indie games and stuff like that. That's the only reason I will stay having Game Pass. But I like to own my games now. Like I was kind of weird about it at first, but now ever since I got my PlayStation, I just buy, like if I want the new Ratchet and Clank comes out, I'll just buy it. I'll just buy it and then I'll just have it with me forever. And so like I kind of messed up with Xbox because a lot of like Psychonauts 2, I should have probably just bought it because what if I want to play that down the road? And I don't have Game Pass, but I only have the Xbox that doesn't have the disc drive. But other than that, man, like I still think it's cool. I mean, I'd be down to get down to some Assassin's Creed. I've wanted to play the Valhalla game, but that game is like, you think Elden Ring's long? Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on. Like that's gonna be way longer. So yeah, so be on the lookout for that. If you guys want to read about it more, I'll make sure I put the tweets in the description. They were tweeted out. Let me shout them out so I don't get them wrong. It's Nebelian. If you guys know that account, I'll make sure I put his tweets and his @ in the bio so you guys can go check it out for yourself. A lot of people want Phil Spencer fired over the Starfield Redfall delays. There is a tweet floating around that he said. I'm trying to find it real quick.
What did he do? He's not even involved with it. I mean, I guess he owns it. Like,
I think Xbox fans are just mad because they don't have any games coming out. He said these decisions are hard on teams making the games and for our fans. While I fully support giving teams time to release these great games when they are ready, we hear the feedback, delivering quality and consistency is expected. We will continue to work to better meet those expectations. End quote. And then he said, last spring before E3, I spoke to some folks on Starfield who were extremely worried about committing to 11/11/22 date based on the progress they made so far. In quotes, next Cyberpunk, and end quote, was the term floated. So a lot of people were already floating that speculation too. That would be like another Cyberpunk. Good on Bethesda for delaying even after announcing that specific date. This is Phil Spencer tweeting that out. They're like giving them their flowers for pushing it back, which I agree with Phil, bro. I like Phil. I'm team Phil Spencer all the way. Cool dude. Yeah, like it goes back, like we can kind of just touch up on it. It's just like it goes back to that line where it's just like, bro, give this man a break. Like the how much he's made Xbox better over the past few years he's been there. You guys got the Game Pass. You guys got good games last year, and you got good games to come. Like, talking about firing this dude is insane. Oh, man. It's just crazy to me, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody's upset about it, so I just wanted to catch up on him tweeting that out because everybody is upset. But, like, we don't even know. We have summer games that comes out this summer.
The Summer Games Fest or whatever.
Yeah, let me look up the date for that. The Summer Games Fest is June 10th. And it ends on... Wait, hold on. Wait, no, that was 2021. It's June 9th. So, I mean, they still got time to cook something up. Xbox gets announced June 12th, though. So, we literally have a few weeks till this gets announced. So, I'm excited for it. We'll have to see. I don't know. Like I said, people are overreacting against Phil and shit like that, but can't do nothing about it, bro. Can't do nothing about it.
I'm hoping there's an author I like his books, and he said he's been working on a game that they're probably going to announce this year, and I'm like, oh, please announce it at the Games games thing, because I will be excited. Because Bandai Namco reached out to him, like kind of like how they reached out to George R. R. Martin. They reached out to Brandon Sanderson, who's the author, and they were like, "Hey, we want you to work on a game." And he's like, "I would love to if I wasn't working on a game already." And it's like, what?
Wait, who is that?
Brandon Sanderson. He writes like these series. The series I like is called the Stormlight Archives, and then he also writes Mistborn, and I forget what the other one is. The dude is like, the dude is one of the craziest authors out there. Like the running joke with him is that he takes a break from writing a book to write another book. Like that's what
He's the definition of eating a candy bar, putting it down, and then eating another candy bar.
he announced he announced earlier this year. He was just like, because he's been, he's still working on the Mistborn books, the Stormlight Archives books. He's looking at all that. And then he was like, oh yeah, by the way, I wrote 4 new books, like mystery books, and like I'm kickstarting them. And it's just like, where the fuck do you find time to write 4 new books? And then when he put it on Kickstarter, it became the highest grossing Kickstarter in history. He was like, yeah, let me look it up real quick. This is a segue, but I was blown away. Let me see. Brandon. Because he was it was like 4 books that he just specifically, and he was just like, he's publishing them, and he just put a Kickstarter, and he's like, Kickstarter for 1 million to get these books out, and the Kickstarter as of now is at 41 million
To write a book,
and it's 4 books, and it became the highest grossing Kickstarter in history. And it's like, damn,
that'd be kind of legit though.
Oh, his books are awesome. The Stormlight Archives is my favorite books. It's so cool.
I mean, I don't know how to read, but can I, like, how big are the books?
The Audible, so I Audible them, and each book's about. So that's the thing too.
You're an You're an Audibler? You pay for that? You pay for that?
I did, yeah. I just paid for it, downloaded all the books, and then got rid of it. But each of his books, or each of at least the Stormlight Archives books, are about 50 to 60 hours. So it's like when that's what I'm saying his books are like this thick, and he writes multiple of those, and then we'll just randomly be like, hey, so I wrote a new one in my spare time, and it's like, what are you doing, dude?
I guess that's what keeps everything fresh, though. I feel like, what if he wasn't influenced on writing that book, and he was just like, yo, I need space, bro.
And he does like YouTube. He does YouTube videos. Like the dude's like, I don't think the dude can take a break.
He's committed, bro. He's committed to the grind.
Yeah, I'm hoping that like they announce his game this year, because he was like, he's been playing a lot of Elden Ring. He was putting up like Elden Ring tweets and stuff like that, and he's like, I love this game. And I'm like, please make your own version of this. Like, let's do it.
Everybody's playing it, dude. I just can't get over like how crazy the game is. It's the characters for me. Like, I think more games need to look at how crazy those characters were, and like the NPCs and stuff like that, and kind of just put that in their own game. Like, it's not your typical like boss fights and stuff like that. I don't know. You always find something different, I feel like. And just like how I walked into that one town, and then there's just people hitting the dance, and I'm like, yo, what is happening? I'm like, this town's lit though. And I was like, they don't even hurt you. And it's cool stuff like that you don't expect to run in on. And then the one time where I'm exploring Weeping Peninsula, and I hear a bat like just singing. It's like the most beautiful singing I've ever heard. And I'm like, dude, where is his voice at? And I found him, and I was like, wow. I was like, this is cool. This is cool.
Yeah, those things are nutty.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I need to be an audibler. The only thing I consume at work is podcasts at this point. I listen to Gaming Illuminati. I listen to Hokage Thoughts, and then Gamertag Radio.
Nice. So I just turn on like video essays at work on YouTube and just let those play in the background.
Yeah, technically we're not allowed to have our phones out at work, so allegedly I'll turn on a video and I'll hide it in my toolbox and hope it just plays out. But I'd rather just listen. I'm hoping. Sometimes I hope that they're a little bit longer, so I can just put it in my toolbox, just have to listen to it. So
yeah, and just chill out, not worry about it.
I'm still trying to find a sweet point for the podcast, because like I feel like people do mess around with the 1.5-hour episodes, but then sometimes they like to keep them short. So it's like, I felt like sometimes I listen to a podcast, I'm like, damn, only 40 minutes. Like I don't. I'm like, bro, just let me consume this for my day. Like, let me just take
the only podcast I really got into for being like super long was like the Your Mom's House podcast, which was like the comedians or whatever. And it's like, I was fine with that because they would usually, their episodes could sometimes be like 2 hours, but like the first hour would be like just the husband and wife, and then the second hour would be the guests that they bring in. Right. So it was kind of like 2 episodes in one. But then when they have like a really good guest, you're just like, oh man, I don't want this to end. Like when they get Joey Diaz, it's like, all right, cool, we talk for 3 hours, let's go.
I really like the Yard podcast, which I like Ludwig as a streamer. I like Ludwig as a content creator, but I never didn't think I would like his pod because it's a lot of personal stuff, like just what they go through on a day-to-day basis and like the Smash community and shit like that. But after you sit down and listen, dude, those guys are hilarious, bro. Like they just crack me up. They just sit there and they just spit.
If you're interested in the Smash community, I know I've mentioned it before, but you got to watch that Smash Bros documentary. That shit's awesome.
I'm about to. I got to at this point.
It's like 8 episodes. It's sick. I love watching it. It's so cool.
Every time we talk about Smash, you bring it up. I have to.
Oh, I watch it like once a month. It's so good.
Dude, what do we got to do? We should do a tournament, bro. A fighting tournament. Me and you. Let's host it. Let's commentate it. We don't even play fight. Let's just do it. Me and you. Let's throw a prize on the line. Just get a bunch of fucking underdogs in there and just like commentate it, bro. Prize, we'll throw in a tub of G Fuel or something. Be like, just commentate this whole event. I don't know. Can you do giveaways like that or what? Because I'm not sponsored with G Fuel. Would I get in trouble for that?
No, if you get the product, it's yours to do with what you want. So if you want to, no, they can't tell you no.
We need to.
Now, if you say the event is sponsored by it, then yeah, you could get in trouble because that's an endorsement. But it's like if you're just like, hey, it's the prize, like, no.
Dude, we should do something like that with a video game. I don't know what it could be. Like, I think Super Smash Bros would be funny though.
I feel like that's one where it's like everyone at least has a general idea of what's going on.
Get a bracket started, bro. We just take one night out of our day. We start at like 1 p.m., finish at midnight. We're all booed up. We'll get you some.
Me and my buddies used to do that. For like net play on like Melee. We used to like go to like that bracket maker thing and just do like little tournaments and just do those for fun.
Dude, I think it might be time, bro. I think that shit would be sweet. I just like Smash Brothers, bro. I like watching it. I've never been like. I think it'd be kind of cool. We just host it up. Fucking, I'm down.
Just chill out.
Yeah. Y'all heard it on the pod first. If you pod listeners hear it, man, you guys trying to get signed up. Oh, dude, I'm geeked now. Look at that, bro. We're like
be fun, yeah.
Jordan and Pippen, man. Look at us. That's a football reference. Let's go.
I don't know enough about sports, but I know that one was wrong.
I wanted to test you a little bit. Oh, wow.
Like, I was just like, hold on a second. It's like, is this dude serious or is he messing with me?
Bro, I watched the Celtics game yesterday. Celtics Heat. And the Heat were up by 26 and they almost lost. And I was like, wow, I'm just expecting the Falcon Heat jokes. I'm like, bro, I'm like, just win. I was like, I want to be on Twitter tonight because they be slandering the Falcons when someone else blows a lead. It's ridiculous. So last but not least that we got on our list, guys, is allegedly is what I heard through the rumor mill. Is Call of Duty is adding 4 maps from 2009, yes, I repeat, 2009 Modern Warfare 2 into the new Warzone 2 map. The maps that are going to be added are High Rise, Terminal, which is a legendary map, Quarry, and Afghan. I have something to say about this, and Stu was ready to debate about this, so I was waiting for this part of the pod. But like, I get they are doing a remaster for Modern Warfare 2. First of all, I think they made it very unclear if it's a remaster of the old game or if it's if it's part 2.
It's a sequel to the 2019 Modern Warfare. It's not a remaster of the 2009 and 2. Yeah.
Well, that just makes it worse then, I feel like. Like, I just don't. I
wish it would be a remaster. That would be sick.
This is the thing, guys, is am I mad about this? No. Do I think COD could do better? I think COD should do better. I think it's along the lines of the Halo debate. It's like Call of Duty is the best shooter and the top selling game year after year after year after year after year. Your dad buys it, your uncle buys it.
Elden Ring outsold the most recent COD also, by the way, just saying.
Yeah, I heard about that too. Congrats to them. That's the first time someone's outsold them in a while. And then their excuse was oh, if it wasn't World War II based, like, man, don't put that on that, man. Like, yeah, sorry, people aren't into like the slow shooting guns anymore. Personally, I like the World War II setting. I like the guns. I like the way they shoot. I like it's different, bro. Like, we play too many of these futuristic shooters. Like, it's good to have one that's like old school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I like watching Hunt so much. The guns from Hunt.
Remaster World at War. Then, good God, that was the game.
Which one?
World at War. Call of Duty World at War, the one between COD 4 and MW2, like the old.
Yeah,
like,
that was a good one.
World at War banged. That game was so good.
That was my first Call of Duty, and that was one of my favorites. That's the most memorable one for me. I remember playing that. Like, I tell the story every time, man. I was at school. I wanted a video game for my birthday. I asked my boy, I was like, "Hey, what should I get?" And he's like, "Oh, you got to get that Call of Duty." And I was like, "What's that?" And he was like, "Bro, get the new Call of Duty, World at War." I'm like, "All right." I got it, and I got addicted to it. Addicted. I'm talking about as soon as I come home from school, I'm on. As soon as it's Saturday, I'm up at 8. I'm gaming till 5 in the afternoon. Snacks in between only. Leveling up, grinding. Turtle Beach. And then eventually I got so addicted, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna need a Turtle Beach headset." And then that's when I got legit. So, but back to the point of them adding the older, like, I just feel like Call of Duty needs to make better maps, like, just make better products. Like, I feel like they don't get the pass anymore because they have the money to do this, and they really just can't. They can't make a game that it has a seasonable upload, or like a reasonable sized game. They can't like package it right. I've never liked them for that. The maps get boring. They're not memorable. The only reason we do remember these older maps is because how good they were. They just haven't put out any maps that we remember for a long time. I mean, Nuketown has been a staple in a lot of these games for like their featured small map. They just throw in a new version of Nuketown. They like to recycle all these maps and then call it, like, they throw it in like a map pack or something like that. I've never liked them for that. That's just me personally.
I mean, I'm always fine with throwback maps because it's like I like nostalgia, but it's like, I mean, we haven't, as far as I know, I'm trying to think, it's like those maps, it's like we had Terminal and Advanced Warfare, I remember that, but it's like High Rise, Quarry, and what was the other one? Favela?
High Rise, Terminal, Quarry, Afghan.
So Afghan, Quarry, and the other one, like, I don't think we've seen those remastered, like, other than, like I said, other than Terminal, which we've seen. Like, I think this will be the first time we'll see those remastered, so it's like I'll give it a little bit more of a slide that way. But I mean, that's what, I mean, Blackout did that with Treyarch Call of Duties, like, or Treyarch maps. Like, Blackout had, like, you know, array, firing range, like, it had maps from the Black Ops series and World at War series, and then, you know, MW 2019 or Warzone had maps in MW 2019, like Superstore and not headquarters, broadcast and stuff like that. So it's like, I'm fine with it, especially because those maps are fun, but that's just me. I like nostalgia. I mean, that's why it's at the point, it's like, I'd rather play remakes or go back to old games and play new shit.
Yeah, you've been on that little tweet rant.
It's like,
I just really have high expectations for this games that they should be releasing good shit. Not like, so what are we going to do when we're 5 years down the road, bro? Like 10 years down the road? Are we just going to keep on using these 2009 maps? Like, I mean, people
realistically, I feel like Call of Duty is like starting. I feel like it's been overdue, but I feel like Call of Duty is actually starting its decline now. Like, it got outsold by a single player game. Like, that's a massive, like,
that's tough, bro.
And it's like, you know, since, like, I mean, they've been polarizing, like, I know it's Call of Duty, but it seems like, you know, with the newer ones, like from like the Xbox One and PS4, you know, people were like, love them or hate them, and then it's like, as time went on, it just seemed like people were like, hate them or tolerate them. Like, the lows have still been low, but the highs are starting to come down to match it. Like, I still like MW like 2019, but it's like, and I know a lot of people do, but a lot of people are like, man, MW 2019 is actually really good. A lot of people are like, yeah, it's all right, or it sucks. And then Cold War, people are like, no one was like, oh man, Cold War's so good. It's like, people are like, Cold War's all right. And then Vanguard, same thing. People are just like, it's a Call of Duty game. So it's like those highs are starting to drop and the lows are just staying there. So it's like, it could start to be on its decline. Yeah. But at the same time, the typical COD cycle, what's going to happen is 3 years from now, people are going to be like, you know, Vanguard was actually a really good game. And it's like, oh, go fuck yourself, man. I hate when people do that. It's like I might not It's like if I like a COD, it's like I was like that. You know, people nowadays are like, oh, Black Ops 3 was actually really good. And it's like, where was that energy when it was out? Because I specifically remember you being like, this game sucks. And now you're like, oh, it's so good. And it's like, no, you don't get to say that.
I've never heard people hate their game more than COD people hate their game. Like, I think
maybe Halo people, maybe at this point.
Yeah, I would say that. But like every time a new COD comes out, even the COD community is very negative. Like I barely see anything positive coming out of that game, bro. Like that's why I got tired of multiplayer like shooters. You don't really get excited over much. I mean, the only thing you really have to look on is like battle pass stuff, and I can understand why people like to go the battle royale route more than anything. But I guess it depends on the game because I personally like Titanfall better than I've liked Apex. Like sometimes I like battle royale games, but a lot of people like think that's the Lord and Savior, like Jesus Christ of like games, and it's just not. Like people just be like battle royale is different every time. I'm like, yeah, and then no. Like I feel
it is up until an extent.
Yeah, like I just the battle royale stuff. Like I feel like it just wasn't my thing, especially ranked battle royale is like the worst thing. Like
I've never understood games that have a ranking system for pretty much if a game's not an arena shooter. I've never understood why it has a ranking system because it's like if you have a ranking system, everyone's on an equal playing ground. Like in a BR. Someone could land 10 feet next to you and pick up a fucking nuke launcher and you pull out just like a fucking wet paper towel and it's like you die and it's like, oh, your rank went down because of that. And it's like that wasn't even skill based. That was just I got unlucky. Like that's why when people are like I mean obviously, you know, Predators on Apex and whatever, obviously they're good at the game. Like I'm not saying like y'all suck, but it's like it's just stupid that it's just like, well, I'm a Predator and it's like for all I know you could just get lucky drops 10 games in a row and just fucking kill people who are higher ranked than you who don't get shit.
Like those high kill games where people just have like they post their high kill games. Like, well, you probably found something right off the rip. Like
exactly, yeah.
It's like I understand it takes a little bit of a skill with that, but it's just also like I never like really agreed with rewarding somebody for staying alive the longest either, because you could definitely rat it out. You could definitely like hide a little bit more. You could third party. There's ways that you could hide and stay alive to get your rank up a little bit too. So I've never been a fan of that at all.
I don't know if you've played it, but BR games, that fucking Blood Hunt game pisses me off so much.
I played it for like a week.
That game is just third party central. I was like, good God, I was getting so annoyed. And then like the one game we played where we made it to the very end, like we were like the last team and we're like, where's this team at? And they were just hiding like way off in a corner behind like a street sign at the edge of the zone. And I'm like, are you kidding me that this is how this game ended? And then like we died because it's like they shot us in the back because we're like, where are they at? But it's just like very cool that like, that's why, I don't know.
You could hear bullets very like across the map type shit. Like as soon as you hear a bullet, people are running towards that. So
yeah,
I get you. So I don't know, to kind of cap it all off, like I said, I'm not super mad about it. I get it. It's like it's just like, let's just do, I just expect higher standards. But now that I'm kind of sitting here reading it, it's like, it is what it is. I just don't understand why we rely on nostalgia for everything for a game to be good. Like I feel like you should be starting nostalgia for newer generations and stuff like that. Like create a map that's going to be remembered by the new generation too. Like it's cool. It's cool for us, but like at the end of the day, bro, we're just gonna get tired of COD. And they could like 2 or 3 years down the road be like, we put Nuketown back in the game, and then we're like, I don't care. I don't care, man.
That's yeah.
So to wrap it all up, well, actually, I guess we'll talk about. Do you think Modern Warfare 2 is going to be the savior then? Are we just going to have no expectations? Okay, good. We can just
unless they came out and were like, unless they did like a package thing where it's like, hey, you get MW2, the sequel to 2019, and you get MW2 2009 remastered. If they did that, I would snatch that bitch up in a heartbeat.
Give 2 games and bundle it together. That'd be kind of cool. I don't see why they wouldn't. It'd probably be $100 game, or $100 bundle though. They ain't gonna let that slide. They gonna get their money.
That's what they did with Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered. So yep.
To wrap up the rest of the episode, guys, I posted on Twitter Basically, before every podcast, I like to tweet out along the lines of recording an episode for Tana's Eye View today. If you guys have any questions you want us to answer, let me know in the comments below. So if you guys want to be a part of the next questions for the pod, just follow me on Twitter at YouLoveNicktana. That's YOULOVENICKTANA. Or just click the subscription or click the description below. But we have 2 questions today. One's from Goose, and he said, "What's your top game of this? What's your top game of the year contender so far? Don't say Elden Ring." So we'll
Goose, it's Elden Ring.
I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off to Stu. And that's your answer? You're really gonna sit here and say?
Realistically, even though the game's not out yet, if they follow through, God of War without a doubt. But that's only if they follow through. And I'm still skeptical that it's not going to release this year. But it's like, if God of War comes out this year, it is without a doubt. It's the game of the year is going to be a coin toss between God of War and Elden Ring, no doubt.
So I'm looking at a few of these games here, and 2022 has not been a bad year by anybody's standards. If people think 2022 was a flop, they just haven't played enough games. If I had to pick a game right now based on what I think, it could be very well Dying Light 2. I watched gameplay of that. It was. You don't think so? You played the game and you still don't think so?
It's good, but it's not an Elden Ring or a God of War. Like it's not to that standard.
I have that, and personally, if I had to pick something that I've played, I honestly think that Pokemon Legends of Arceus will probably be up there on the list for me, just because.
I forgot about that.
Like, I feel like that game turned around the Pokemon community, and they did something new and something that the Pokemon community's been asking for a really long time. I
forgot about that it came out this year. That's definitely a contender. I don't think it'll win, but I guarantee it'll be in the list of hey, here's your
It's more of us, bro. I remember Ray and Coco were talking about that in the last episode. Make sure you guys listen if you haven't already. Episode 16. We talked about it, and it's a game that felt like it was for us. What happens if Pokemon was real life, bro? Pokemon games, it's you walk into a little patch of grass and something pops, but it's different. You got to think of the Pokemon world is literally Pokemon everywhere. Think of you would a forest, how there's just animals everywhere. They're all mixed together. There's stuff in the water. That was a Pokemon dream for me. That was a dream that I wanted to see as a kid, and I got to see that. So I feel like that could definitely compete. I don't think Kirby was good enough for me. I think Kirby was a very fun game, and it's fun to pick up for however long. I did a little review on that. I didn't do an in-depth review. I just think Kirby's fun for that moment. Yeah, knock it out, 10-hour game. There's not really that much of a story behind it besides your friend gets captured, you save your friends, you save the Waddle Dees. A lot of people had a little bit more appreciation for it. I mean, this is the first 3D Kirby game that they ever made. It was just more along fun for me. I could care less about it. And then you said, Horizon Forbidden West. I know I'm saying a lot of games. I'm just kind of trying to, I'm doing this to try and bring Elden Ring down. So we don't look like Elden Ring is, we're trying to clear the check from Elden Ring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From software. We're not trying to get paid off here. But Horizon Forbidden West, I feel like it's going to be up there. It'll be in the debate. It just wasn't good enough. I feel like they played it very safe on the action adventure side. It's the standard of it. If you think of action adventure, that's what you're going to get Horizon. You're going to get whatever you expect.
Bad. It's just like you said, it's a safe thing.
Very, very safe. What you expect is exactly what you're going to get. You're not going to get any twists or turns or nothing like that. So,
yep.
Final answer, I'm going to say Pokemon Legends of Arceus would be my guess out of all those games. So, but I feel like a lot of people don't give Nintendo its flowers though either. What was there any Nintendo games in Game of the Year last year? I always think it was It Takes Two, Ratchet and Clank, Psychonauts, Deathloop, and there was one more.
Was it Metroid Dread? There's your Nintendo one.
That game was a flop.
That game was. I didn't play it, but that game was huge. I know people love the Metroid games.
Yeah, released.
All I know is when Metroid Prime 4 comes out, that's going to be a Game of the Year contender.
Metroid Prime. That's what we waiting for. Last but not least, our last question of the day is from Gordon. Gordon, are video game releases dates even valid anymore? Question mark. I feel like anything and everything gets delayed nowadays. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it up to Stu. Ask how he feels about this question. Do you think that release dates don't even mean anything, or is they just like because they get pushed back all the time anyway?
At this point, it's like if you're gonna put a date on it, like maybe put like an asterisk. Like I know it's kind of expected, but let's say announce, like let's going back to Starfield or whatever. If they would have put expected Q4 2022, that way it's like, hey, this is when they're planning on it, but it's not set in stone. I'd be fine with that because at least it kind of gives us a little bit of an idea of like where they think they're at. Versus if you're like, it's coming out at this time and then it gets pushed back and pushed back. It's like, why'd you even fucking tell us then? It's like if you or at least give us like a ballpark. Like if they're just like let's say like even when games are like planned for like late or early 2023, it's like, all right, at least you gave it a ballpark. Like that's how I see it. It's like don't set it in stone unless you're confident. I'm totally fine with games giving just an estimate at this point.
I think Gamertag Radio talks about this a lot, and they say along the lines of like, I think the thing that I would like, and I agree with them, is like, tell me, let's say they said Fallout 76 is a good example of this. Like it came out a certain day and they announced the release date like a month beforehand, but you didn't hear about it for a very long time. Like for Starfield's case, I feel like you talked about it so early that now you got people expecting it. So now you got people bugging you like, yo, when are we going to see this? When the expectations.
I got pissed when they announced Kingdom Hearts 4. It's just like, why did y'all do this? It took y'all 14 years to make Kingdom Hearts 3 after Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, why did you announce this? We're not seeing this for like 8 years minimum.
Where they do it so like people can talk about like,
I think that's stupid.
It's just to get the word of mouth around. Like, oh, do you hear that they're working on it? Like, it's official.
I got pissed whenever they announced. That's why I liked what GTA did. Where they never announced GTA 6 for a long time, and then like after GTA 5 had been out for like 6 years, they're like, okay, yeah, hey, we're working on GTA 6. Like, and it's like, thank y'all for like waiting 6 years to tell us that instead of telling us a year after GTA 5. Be like, hey, GTA 6 is under works. It's like, cool. We're never gonna see it, but that's cool,
dude. They are literally reaming out GTA 5, bro.
That's why I got annoyed with when they announced Elder Scrolls, because it's like, we all know you were making it. Like, why did you announce it and be like, oh yeah, well this isn't coming out until way after Starfield? And it's like, why the fuck did you tell us then?
Yeah, because Starfield's supposed to be that game that's gonna hold us over for a long time until people get tired of it, and then they're gonna release news. I think it's just they just want to stay relevant. They just want to keep on posting about stuff. Yeah. Like it's just like it comes to a time where it's just like. That's why, like, I've been saying it the past few podcasts, man. Like, that's why I've been really getting into these these indie studios and shit, man. Like, they don't have the funding and stuff to be talking all the time. So they basically, like, when their time comes, they have everything.
Keep talking, I'll be right back.
Okay. They have everything ready from the fact to where, like, they have the cinematic, or they have the game trailer, they got gameplay, and a release date is this year. That's why I've always liked those indie titles for that reason. It's like we know what to expect from them. That's why I've been really hip with that. It just comes a time to where it's like sorry guys. It comes a time to where like you said, these games will sit there and they'll announce themselves, but the game ain't gonna come out for a few more years and stuff like that. Like it doesn't excite me. Like keep me excited, but they definitely want to like make sure they want to make sure that people are like looking forward to something. Like but when you do that, people's expectations are super high. Like I'd rather people just like keep it under wraps, not even say anything about Starfield or any game, and just be like, oh yeah, this game's coming out this year. It's done. So, yeah. But we have this. But it's a thing where it's like they want to get people excited. They want to show what's coming out in the future and shit like that. So I understand, but I don't think game releases really mean anything for me. I just kind of looking into the industry and studying the industry a little bit more. I just feel like we know that when stuff's gonna get pushed back, like you kind of just get that feeling as a consumer. Like I feel like people get so shocked. Like when Starfield got pushed back, I was like, I didn't expect anything less. Like when Forspoken got pushed back, I was like, okay. Like I just come to accept it, which isn't like the best thing. It's not always the best practice, but at the end of the day, it's like, I don't really mind. I'll play something else. So I was just saying along the lines of like when you were gone that the industry, like for the indie games, it's just like they have their one day that they can announce something, like their one day, and they announce it. They got gameplay, like a cinematic trailer and a release date, and like they have interviews with the developers, and it's like, bro, chef's kiss, bro. Chef's fucking kiss. Like, I don't know when like this hit me to where I just appreciate the work that they put in, but Jesus, bro, like games like what was it, bro? There's just been a bunch of them, man. Like I can't even we had Indie World that came up, and a lot of those games I was just like some of them you could look at and be like, okay, I'll never play them, but it's like you got to appreciate the game, like Devolver Digital or Digital, whatever.
Devolver Digital,
they look at what they've been doing. They've been putting out like hit after hit after hit, and it's not like, okay, this isn't gonna win Game of the Year, but it's like you recognize, it's good. It's very above average. Then, so I don't know. Yeah, to sum it all up, it don't really matter to me for release dates. They don't. A lot of times they're just gonna say like these games are gonna come out 2023, and if they don't work with that, then just expect for a further pushback. So
yeah, I think that's about it, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it stinks, but it is what it is. So I think that's gonna be it for us, guys. I'm gonna give Stu the floor real quick. What you been working on, man? Tell him what you've been working on, bro. Have you been working on projects, bro? Like I feel like people that like my pod would like your pod as well. Like we both got podcasts.
I've been doing that. You know I've been working on like doing like an Elden Ring review, and it's like I'm like stuck in like a limbo because it's like I write the script, start recording it, and then like I'm like, oh wait, let me do this, and then it's like I just keep like recording, rewriting, and then it's like, so I pretty much like scrapped everything, and I'm like, my thoughts are clearly not composed, so I like revamped my outline, and I'm like, let's see if writing it from here will go better. So I'm like at that stage where I'm like, all right, start from scratch again, and it's like if that doesn't work, I'm just gonna freeball it and just turn on like recording and just talk, because it's like that was my problem, is like I would keep forgetting stuff and then go off topic, and it's like, yeah, if I do it again, like we'll just freeball it. That's fine. Sometimes those are better, sometimes they're worse, but we'll see.
Right. I mean, at least
if I have to keep rewriting and undoing and rewriting, it's like at that point, it's like, you know what? Let's just cut out the middleman and let's just talk.
I feel like you could do it. I mean, we talk about it all the time, so
that's like my big focus right now.
Now, would you want to do that to where like you space it? Like, do you want to do like a part 10-minute episode? Part 1, and then it's like in the next part
I would probably just do a long I personally like doing long videos, so it's like I would just probably do it as like a one and done, and however long it is, that's how long it is.
That would be kind of, I might fuck with that, bro, but then you got to expect people to come back and listen to it. Like, okay, like I can only listen to 15 minutes of this, I'll come back and listen to the other 15 minutes.
It's like I'm biased because that's what I do at work. It's like, you know, if I'm at work listening to like video essays, it's like I'll still listen to the 15-minute ones, but you know, if I see one that's like 30 to 45 to an hour, I'm like, ooh, that's the one I want to listen to, because that'll just, while I'm at work, it's like that'll hold me over for a while. Versus, but it's like yeah. I won't know how long it is until I start recording. That's the thing. It's like I mean, I could talk and just get it over with in like 10 minutes and be like, oh well, that was quick, or I could talk and make it 2 hours. I don't know.
Respect, yeah. Regardless, man, I amend you for that. Good luck with that. I'm gonna have a link to his podcast down as well, guys, especially to his page and all of his socials and shit like that. If you guys like Stu's content, go ahead and check it out. He's a great content creator, stuff like that. So this was episode 17 of the pod, guys. Again, I appreciate you guys listening. So always a reminder, I'm gonna say it at the end, I know I kind of ramble about it and shit like that, but if you guys can do me a favor, make sure you guys rate this 5 stars if you guys did enjoy this. Share it with a friend so we could get them involved and get the word out about us and stuff like that. And then yeah, you know what I'm saying. And then also all my links and stuff are going to be in the description below. Like I said, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Twitter for all the updates on Tana's Eye View. YouTube to catch me playing Elden Ring. I have Elden Ring gameplay that's going up. Podcast, the visual versions, they go up there as well. And then on my Twitch, I stream 3 days a week. So all that will be in the description. Again, thank you guys for kicking it. I'm signing off. Have a great day. Tell someone you love them, and I'll catch you guys next episode.
Ruin it.
Later. Do it.